So, as Bernard said, my name is Jonathan Jones, and it is my pleasure and privilege to be your host and moderator for this evening. I've been looking forward to having this conversation. You might recall it was about 2 weeks ago that Dr. Prasad said that we need to have a discussion on hearing health. We need to do that. We need to dedicate a program to having a discussion on hearing health. So, what Dr. Prasad wants, Dr. Prasad gets. And so we slotted that in as quick as we could. And he has written a manuscript on it. And so we kind of developed a PowerPoint presentation that kind of is around it. And looking forward to hearing what Dr. Prasad has to share with us on this subject. So this should be quite interesting. I think you're going to appreciate and benefit from this program. I think very, very nicely. So this is our subject. This is our theme. This is our discussion. You see the topic, and we call it "Can You Hear Me Now?" It's kind of a play on that commercial that ran for many years, and also kind of a play on Zoom. You know, because once the pandemic hit, everybody was on Zoom. All these meetings were taking place on Zoom, and folks are always constantly saying, "Can you hear me now?" Well, yeah, you just unmuted. Of course, I can hear you now. But that's sort of a little bit of a pun, a little play on words there for our discussion. This really is all about the role that micronutrients play in hearing health. So that's really what our focus is. So we're required, though, for the sake of those who are new with us. And by the way, we're excited that you're here with us if you're here for the first time. And we commend you for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us. And we know that it's not normal to sacrifice time on a Sunday afternoon or an evening when that's family time. But someone thought highly of you and thought enough of you to tell you about this program and tell you about the brilliance of Dr. Prasad to give you an opportunity to hear what he has to say on any subject. And I guarantee you that no matter what he has to talk about, you will be better off for listening to him. It'll be the best 45 minutes of time that you would have ever spent in your life if you are spending time listening to this man, if you care about your health. And care about someone else's health in particular. So that's the reason why this is so important. So welcome if you're here for the first time. And it's not too late to send the invitation to someone else that you care about. So if you want to do that, feel free to do so because we'll be here for at least 45 minutes. And if possible, we will even try to take time to answer a few questions as our discussion goes on. But I want to introduce to our discussion now Dr. Prasad. And so Dr. Prasad is going to just break down for us this whole role of health, because like I said, the information that you're going to be hearing today is all taken from his manuscript. So he can kind of elaborate on this in ways that obviously I am not qualified for. But Dr. Prasad has a storied background. He was the world's first radiation biology PhD. Now, that should speak volumes all by itself. This man knows something about radiation, and he was so ambitious. He took a 4-year course and crammed it into 3 years and said, let me just get this over with. I got things to do. And he just knocked it out in about 3 years' time and became the very first to become a radiation biology PhD. His products have been awarded some 10 US patents on micronutrients, and he's just getting started. This man is in his 90s and still cranking out brand new work and still producing new research, still giving lectures. He's been invited to give a lecture at a prestigious institute. Maybe we'll hear about that a little bit later on too. So he's still very, very active and working. His mind is razor sharp. He's forgotten more than most of us know. His accolades are there on the screen. You can take a screenshot of that, but you can just step away from this portion of our discussion, understanding that this is not just a product formulator. It's just not an average run-of-the-mill scientist. This is a scientist of the highest caliber. He spent 30 years as a professor at University of Colorado School of Medicine. So 30 years, that means he's taught doctors. That means he's taught people who have gone on to have academic careers. He was the man whose shoulders that they stood on. And even to this day, he's been published some 250 times. I think it's more like 300 times in peer-reviewed publications. And there's at least 450 references to him in the National Library of Medicine, the official National Library of Medicine here in the United States. So we're talking about someone who has an incredible background. As far as published works are concerned, just take a look at this. This is just one little brief snapshot of some of the books that Dr. Prasad has authored or co-authored. So this is what you're looking at. This is the man who it is my pleasure and privilege now to introduce into our discussion, and that's Dr. Kedar Prasad. Dr. Prasad, once again, sir, thank you very much for your being.
Thank you very much,
this discussion.
Jonathan. I always enjoy bringing you with you and engaged family members every Sunday, 2 o'clock. My wife always remind me in the morning that don't forget 2 o'clock.
So you're back with us. Okay, there we go.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. And that's our theme. There we go. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, okay.
That's our topic.
That's one good thing is that even at my age, my hearing is perfect.
Unbelievable, Dr. Prasad. I mean, I have problems with my hearing. I suffered with tinnitus and had suffered with tinnitus. The improvement has been dramatic since I've been on your products. But I believe it came from in my younger years, my teenage years, I listened to a lot of music at a very high decibel level. So I think I paid for it with that. But the interesting part about it is I still can hear a pin drop and hit the floor. Good. So it's I hear this tinnitus, but I can hear everything.
Yeah. Tinnitus is kind of different types a little bit.
Okay. Well, we're gonna get to a screen here where you can just tell us a little bit more about that as we're going on. This information on these slides, Dr. Prasad, have been taken from your manuscripts. So yes. Maybe we can talk a little bit about this. You can tell us anything as you want to from these slides as you see them, whatever you'd like to discuss.
Okay.
Because I think the part that I was most excited about was I was seeing the up-to-date current statistics on what's happening. 60 million Americans that are experiencing hearing loss, and by 26 is projected to be 73.5.
Yes.
So that has a
amazing impact.
What's that?
That's amazing increase.
Yeah. And it's kind of mind-numbing. And I'm glad that you pointed out in your manuscript that it has an impact on communication, relationships, and mental health, because it's true. It doesn't matter what you say as much as it is what the person heard you say.
Yes.
So lives have been lost based off not being able to hear something correctly. So and relationships have been damaged based off misinterpretation of and misunderstanding of things that have been heard or perceived to have been heard. So you want to tell us a little bit about the types of hearing disorders? Because I mentioned tinnitus there.
Yeah, and of course conductive is blocked. The sound wave to inner ear. Then you have sensorial because damage to the nerve cell. Tinnitus, you mentioned the ringing of the ear. And meningitis disease, it is a kind of a specific, almost like a genetic disease, which expresses dizziness and sensitivity. And also, they are very sensitive to hearing loss. But another one that is not there is congenital hearing loss. And 50% of the hearing disorder is mutation, gene mutation.
Okay.
Meaning are acquired. And it happens during pregnancy. It can be induced by viruses, or it could be a parental inheritance of genetics for hearing loss. But I was surprised to find out that 50% of hearing loss is because of genetic sensitivity. Because, everybody is exposed to noise. Some may be more sensitive to noise than the other one. There's some medication that you take that can induce it. Wow. So there are a variety of reasons for why you have hearing loss.
Wow. That is
it's
interesting.
Not just the noise. We always thought it's just the noise. No, there are many issues out there. Like here you mentioned it, noise exposure, loud music, combat machinery. And that's why our veterans have a hearing problem a lot. Aging as you grow older, and actually, as a matter of fact, at the age of 60 to 71, 1/3 of Americans have a hearing loss. You can imagine 33% have a hearing loss problem. Then you have ototoxic medications. Sometimes you take medication chemotherapy, some other medication that can damage your ear function. And of course, genetic predisposition and infection are also the major cause of the hearing loss.
Yeah, I wasn't aware of that genetic issue that you mentioned there because obviously I'm focused on the top two there. You know,
Yeah.
exposure to noise and loud music, and then aging.
Yes.
Um, so, and probably many here
Yes.
are focused on those things too. But anyway, go on. Tell us a little bit about the
Now,
role of
here's
stress.
another. We always knew that, the noise, excessive noise will produce a lot of free radicals, damage, increase oxidative stress. This was very well known. And as soon as you have increased oxidative stress, you will have a chronic inflammation without any doubt. Why? Because if the damage produced by oxidative stress is not fully repaired, chronic inflammation sets in motion. And then they work together each other. They produce a lot of very toxic chemical, as well as chronic inflammation will produce additional free radicals. So they work very close by, and they are one of the major contributor to the hearing loss, because all the external stressors that you mentioned, they mediate their action through oxidative stress and chronic inflammation. In addition to that, they also have the excess of glutamate get released, and therefore this created a lot of problem for the hearing problem locally in a hearing nerve, that you have excessive release of glutamate.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, we all know that intestinal dysbiosis, which means number of uh, harmful bacteria increases and number of beneficial bacteria decreases, we call intestinal dysbiosis. And dysbiosis not only play a major role in all human diseases, including hearing loss, but this was totally ignored in current treatment or prevention strategy, the role of intestinal dysbiosis. And we have emphasized in my manuscript that this should be taken care of, that by and also collagen peptides. Collagen, loss of collagen is very, very important for many other organ function, including ear, because as you know, there are 28 different types of collagen in your body.
Mm-hmm.
Each organ has a different types of collagen. They have the gene to make their own collagen. Once you provide the base amino acid, that they can make their own, and that's why collagen peptide does it. And so in a hearing, I was surprised to find out that how critical role collagen plays in maintaining the normal hearing, the blood flow, the structure, and this is, and you can see in my manuscript in more detail. So this is very important. And even the omega-3, and if you have increased oxidative stress in your body, omega-3 will be oxidized, and then it becomes dysfunctional omega.
Wow.
It is there, but it is not functioning because it became easily, especially omega-3 fatty acid, and any
Mm-hmm.
fatty acid is easily oxidizable by free radicals. And
That's
so
interesting.
so if you don't replace it, you will get some benefit if you don't take omega, but it is maximum for benefit. You must have these four items. We call it a core four. Micronutrients will reduce oxidative stress as well as inflammation. And this is very important. This is the only micronutrient which can reduce oxidative stress and chronic inflammation at the same time. You can reduce inflammation if you take Advil, but it doesn't do anything to oxidative stress. So it is very important that to reduce oxidative stress and inflammation, you must have micronutrient which not only increase the antioxidant compound but also antioxidant enzymes. And micronutrient is the only one available which can do both. It increases the antioxidant enzyme level as well as antioxidant compound level, and therefore you have reduced oxidative stress and inflammation at the same time, and therefore you will have prevent the occurrence of hearing loss if you take at earlier age.
That's pretty impressive, Dr. Prasad. Um, I think it'd be good if we go a little bit further on that micronutrients, but I want to digress for just a second, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Um, I just had an interesting experience with my mother-in-law. So, but anyway, my mother-in-law, Dr. Prasad,
Mhm.
is going on 95 years old, and she's had terrible hearing problems
Mhm.
over the past few years, and was seemingly getting worse. But her vision also seemed to be getting worse and worse. She went to the doctor, and this particular doctor decided to be much more thorough and examined her, looked in her ears, and just started pulling out all kinds of stuff.
Hmm.
I mean, the doctor shoved instruments in. I don't even know how it's even possible to shove an instrument into somebody's ear as far as they described them and pulling out just gobs and gobs and gobs and gobs of stuff out of my mother-in-law's ears. Now she can hear like crazy, but the
Hmm.
interesting part is that her vision improved. So
Good.
she's now reading without using any glasses. Is there is there a connection here between the oxidative stress that you're
Oh yeah, I
describing
mean
and vision?
vision, as you know, is very important for an oxidative stress. Your retina part of the eye is highly oxygenated, and if it is highly oxygenated, any place in your body, will produce more free radicals. And that's the reason that they recommend our antioxidant micronutrient mixture that we have, EMF. They will not go sufficient amount to protect maximally. That's why people use marketplace lutein and zeaxanthin, but they also has useful but not sufficient amount to produce a maximum benefit. That's why in our formula we added astaxanthin. And astaxanthin is a very powerful antioxidant and it can accumulate selectively in the retina part of the eye. No other antioxidant can accumulate that much. They do a small amount, but not very much. And so that's why our product, the eye boost, is so impressive because of the astaxanthin. Because in the marketplace, they have been for decades.
Right.
Gluten and gluten people are taking, but have some effect, but not significant effect until you protect the retina part, because retina is the lens. Retina is they transmit everything to your brain cell.
Wow. Well, it just is still mind-boggling to me, Dr. Prasad, to think that she could have this buildup of wax or whatever, and
Yeah.
that could have that big of an impact
Blockade
on her
is one of
eyes.
the major reasons, yeah.
That's just mind-boggling to me. So but anyway, that you've kind of helped to explain it to some degree there. So thank you very much for that. We do have one story that Jeff shared with us
Yeah.
that illustrates the what you're saying, the value of your formula with
Hmm.
hearing health. So I think I have it now. So let me see if I can just play that real quick. And then I want you to tell us more about your formula and how it works and why it's so effective. So give me one second here. When I first put it on, I couldn't receive a higher. Okay, we have them. We have the gentleman. Jeff, if you're on, can you want to describe exactly what everyone's going to be seeing here? You want to give us the backstory on this?
Yes, this is Sam Kawamura in California. And he and his wife had just stood up in front of a group that we had there back when we were still referring to Dr. Prasad's formulation as military micronutrient formulation, or MMF. And Sam had just gotten back from the audiologist, and he talks and actually in the process of sharing, he actually pulls the hearing aid because he'd already been compromised with his hearing. And so that's why he was going regularly to the audiologist, which gives us a really good, timeline. And, somebody's already been compromised as to what Dr. Prasad's incredible formulation, and this is just the foundational formulation, what it did for somebody's range of hearing. So, yeah, go ahead and let's hear from Sam.
went back to the audiologist, and my problem was I wasn't getting, when I first put it on, I couldn't receive a higher pitch tones. But thereafter, she showed the graph that after taking this MMF, that my hearing got better, and it was proven by the graph. So I keep on taking MMF, and it doesn't cure anything. However, it just makes me hear a lot better. Thank you very much.
Wow. Wow. That's pretty interesting. So his range,
Very,
Dr. Prasad.
very interesting, because we actually ran a clinical study in Nashville among a private practicing audiologist, and she was treating the veterans who have the hearing issues, and most of them had the tinnitus. And they ran an experiment for about 6 months with only Micro Daily, because at that time nothing was available. We just use MMF formula, and in a 6 month time, they found that it was a marked improvement, and we published a paper on that issue, that how effective it was. 70% of the people responded extremely well. One funny story is that we were trying to raise a fund, and we went to New Mexico with a big farmer, and his wife could not hear anything, and so I said, well, I don't know. At that time, there was no testing done. It was just, we had a previous company, we just had a formula. The same formula we tested later on, but so I said, well, I don't know. I said, I don't know, but you should try this and see how it goes. So after 3 months, we went there, and he took us for hunting, things like that. So I said, how you are feeling now? He said, well, only one problem. Now when I curse, my wife can hear it.
So she could, oh my goodness, wow. That's interesting, Dr. Prasad.
That's funny.
So she was able to now hear when he was using foul
Yeah.
language.
Yeah. So again, these are our anecdotal story, but the funny thing is that but in a clinical trial, we also tested in a veterans who had a problem with tinnitus or ringing of the ear, and it was very, very effective.
That's impressive, Dr. Prasad. That's quite impressive. Well, you mentioned here this whole thing about reducing oxidative stress and probiotic and omega-3 and collagen, and I think that would be good if everybody understands the value of the collagen. That's good, but
Yeah.
But tell us a little bit more, Dr. Prasad, because see, your research goes beyond just anecdotes. I went back in and I dug up a patent that was awarded to your original formula.
Yeah.
And this patent was entitled here, Micronutrient Formulations for Hearing Health.
Yes.
And it's got your name there as the inventor.
Yeah, or my colleague, we're the Premier Micronutrient Corporation, as you know.
Yeah.
Product we developed there in collaboration with Department of Defense.
Yeah. So this was very real, and this is all about hearing health. So
yes,
it seemed as though you definitely got some strong background here when it comes to hearing. And in your patent, it mentioned these particular things: A, C, D3, E, B complex minerals, zinc, magnesium, selenium, NAC, CoQ10, and so on. Do you want to just give us a little bit as to why this is uniquely benefits?
Well, no, I think in patent is sometimes to certify you answer this question. But main reason for this one, we added all the, for example, and NAC is very important, because even though this is a synthetic one, but when it next is very easily absorbed from your gut, and then N-acetylcysteine gets chopped off,
Right.
and cysteine is used to make a glutathione, which is the most important antioxidant in your body.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So that's the reason we added, and we have also added some other compound. In other words, this thing was meant in a way multiple antioxidant, like alpha lipoic acid is another one which increases glutathione level, by increasing glutathione peroxidase. So each thing that we added, it has some value in terms of improving the oxidative stress and inflammation.
Right.
What surprised me most was that one of them or two of them in the mixture, because what happens later on, the nerve-2, you have to activate nerve-2 generally to make a new antioxidant enzyme. You have to activate it, otherwise you can't. So generally, in a normal situation, they require free radical for activation, short-term activation, and then they protect it. They increase antioxidant, and so that's almost like a defensive mechanism. But what happens in chronic diseases, like whether it's a hearing loss or Alzheimer, or the nerve to become very resistant to free radical. That cannot be activated. And how do you activate it? Well, there are certain antioxidants that we have in that thing. They will activate what we call free radical resistant nerve 2. They activate.
Okay.
That's why our product is such that no matter what stage of the nerve 2 is, whether they're resistant or sensitive, they will activate it and produce antioxidant enzymes. And also antioxidant compound is already there, many of them. And both are necessary, increasing the level of antioxidant enzyme and antioxidant compound, dietary and endogenous, and at the same time, so that you can also reduce oxidative stress and inflammation at the same time. And that's why we get a maximum benefit in terms of reducing oxidative stress and inflammation.
Wow. Dr. Prasad, that's phenomenal. And for folks that this Dr. Prasad, speaks in pure science. And 90% of the audience probably understood everything that you said there, but for the few that didn't, understand something, folks. What Dr. Prasad just said was his formula. His formula triggers a specific thing. You see it on the screen there, this NRF2 pathway, which is very important for making sure that antioxidants can do what they're supposed to do.
Right.
And antioxidants have an impact. Look at the second line on this slide, reducing oxidative stress and inflammation. But he said something very specific at the same time. It's not either or, it does both, because it's supplying exogenous antioxidants. That's antioxidants that come in from the outside, but also stimulating endogenous antioxidants, the ones that your body naturally makes. So his formula is the best of the best. There are no other formulas like this that does this all simultaneously. So you're getting maximum benefit inside our bodies based off what this man decided to put together in the right form, right combination, and from the right sources. So Dr. Prasad, it's amazing.
Yeah. Also that, you mentioned improved mitochondrial energy. Yes, it is. It will improve. The reason is because we also have in our multiple EMF resveratrol.
Yeah.
And resveratrol, among all antioxidants, resveratrol is the only one which not only protects mitochondria like antioxidant, but also increase the formation of new mitochondria.
Oh, wow.
This is very important to remember. And new mitochondria, you will have more energy.
Right. Wow. That's the reason why some people actually complain about energy at night, Dr. Prasad. I mean, one of my clients at first, she said she stayed up half the night cleaning the house for the first time in like years after she started taking Micro Daily EMF. So,
but if she's awake, then she took what you call CBD, which will calm down, and also the
sleep boost. That's right. Well, that was back before that all happened. So anyway, if you want more energy, Dr. Prasad just mentioned here the resveratrol in the Micro Daily EMF will also stimulate that too. Now, this is not just anecdotal. This is all backed by studies. So all this information here can be confirmed and substantiated through research.
Yeah, exactly. And here, collagen peptide is so important because it is loss of collagen It only not make your skin saggy and not good looking, but also it is present in all organs. 30% of collagen in your body, total body protein, 30% of them is collagen. You can imagine how much collagen your body has.
Yeah.
That is present in every organ in your body, not only in the ear, but also in brain. And what are the major function? One of the major function of the collagen is to maintain a structural integrity. And if you have a structural integrity, your organ will perform better.
Mm-hmm.
And as I said, in one of the clinical study in Alzheimer's disease, they showed it that people who has not have the disease as yet, but has a symptom of dementia, and they found with MRI that certain area of the brain was shrinking. This person was at the age of, I think it was 50 to 70 years of age, and they participated in this clinical study. And the shrinking. And then they also had a cognitive dysfunction. But then they put on a just a placebo trial. One group got the collagen peptides for 90 days, 5 grams per day for 90 days. And they did the experiment again. MRI, they said, structure of the brain markedly improved. And also the function, cognitive function also markedly improved. You can see how important is the collagen for brain at that time in that experiment. But same thing people have done with the collagen peptide, and they found that with those people who were on a collagen peptide for a long time, they have reduced risk of developing a hearing disorder. And if they have improved, they will slow the rate of the progression of the disease. So collagen peptide is extremely important.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I can't,
And
we
intestinal
really can't say
dysbiosis,
enough
like
about
I
the
mentioned, yeah,
collagen peptide.
intestinal dysbiosis. The reason it is bad because first you have a lot of harmful bacteria and less beneficial bacteria. Under that condition, they produces much more inflammatory cytokines than chronic inflammation will produce. Much.
Mhm.
And that is very toxic, as you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then even in HIV the case, there was a storm, not HIV, but what was the COVID-19
Right.
cytokine storms, because it's producing a lot of cytokines, which are very toxic to all organs. And so, but if you take probiotics with prebiotics that we have, then that reduces it. And therefore, they reverse the effect of intestinal dysbiosis, and you feel healthy.
And that's a big deal. That's a big deal. I think that the people who study the gut, they say
Yeah,
every disease has a fingerprint in the
right,
in your
right.
microbiome.
Yes,
So they can look at your microbiome and tell you what your disease is.
yeah.
So if
Sometimes
you're
people
changing it with your probiotic and making it all favorable, then you're reducing the chance of something
yeah, exactly.
manifesting. So
Yeah. And if you have probiotics, then you also produce your good bacteria are producing a lot of beneficial molecule for your body, fatty acid like butyric acid, acetic acid. They are all very important function for your and so I think this is very important to have a probiotics in your gut all
that
the time.
sound that sounds like very, very wise advice. And so many people that have taken antibiotics.
Yeah.
I just had a client this past week, Dr. Prasad. She's very, very sick, and everything about her was her gut.
Uh-huh.
Turns out she had been diagnosed with SIBO, small intestinal bacterial overload, and had had a long course of antibiotics. And the
Uh-huh.
doctor, according to her, the doctors told her she did not need probiotics to make her stomach better.
Can't believe it. Any doctor will
She
say.
said that's what her doctors told her. Not one of them recommended that she correct her intestinal dysbiosis. Unbelievable. So,
Yeah, I mean, this is the guy who discovered this who got a Nobel Prize
yeah.
because it has so much impact on human disease
Yeah.
and prevention.
Well, it's mind numbing. So, according to your manuscript, the World Health Organization says 700 million
Uh-huh.
may have disabling hearing loss by the year 2050.
Yes, it's a worldwide problem.
And so this solution, your formulas could save billions in healthcare.
Yes, and very small amount of money, code 4. And if you are an older person, digestive enzyme plus, that's all you need.
That's it. That's it. Well, we're
Until you
excited
have some
about
other
that.
issue like sleeping problem or brain, then you have a brain boost, sleeping boost, and all this. But for minimum, you must have
Yeah.
this code
Yeah.
4.
Yeah.
Or if you can't afford, say, omega-3, I think at least 3 of them is a must,
Mm-hmm.
not exclude it.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to spell that out to folks here in just a second, then give them a chance to maybe ask a couple of questions.
Yes,
But
sure.
but just make sure for the record here, folks, understand that I showed the disclaimer at the very beginning, but I'm just showing it again now. The FDA does not evaluate these statements. Testimonials that you hear are purely anecdotal, results are atypical. That means that what happens to one person may or may not happen to you. Neither the Healthcare Support Association of America, Engage Global, Dr. Prasad, Jonathan Jones, or any authorized representatives are making any claims that any supplements recommended will treat or cure any disease state. So this presentation is for information and educational purposes only. It is not intended to be a substitute for a visit to your doctor. We strongly recommend that you seek the competent medical advice of professionals
That's
that
correct.
you trust.
Yeah.
So this is for educational purposes only. So Dr. Prasad is the scientist behind all of this. This is Professor Prasad. And so his recommendation is very clear. Micro Daily EMF is what he recommends, along with the probiotic boost. Very, very, very important. And as you can see, just a very summary of what he has hypothesized. And we have the anecdotal evidence that it has been true. And there's clinical studies that are backing this all up.
Yep.
It reduces oxidative stress and chronic inflammation. That's all induced by free radicals, and the probiotics pushes things back in your favor. This is Dr. Prasad's most advanced formula right here. The Micro Daily EMF, you can have it in capsule form or you can have it in hydro form. That's a powder that you just mix in a bottle of water and can drink it down. And personally, I think it tastes great. It tastes a lot like lemonade. And there are a lot of folks who say that, but you can look at the ingredients. And if you take the ingredients in Dr. Prasad's most recent formula, this one right here, and go back to the original patent for hearing health, you'll see that there's not much difference. The only difference is he's added 4 additional ingredients.
Yeah.
4 additional ingredients to help with combating the 5G radiation.
Yes. And also the resveratrol is there, which increases your energy.
That's it.
Using new mitochondria. So
that's it. Okay, I hope you all heard that. So I was trying to let him say that again, but the resveratrol is also added to the Micro Daily EMF. So that will increase the number of mitochondria in your body, which means you have more energy. And there's a lot of a lot of discussion about mitochondria now.
Nowadays.
This is the probiotic boost that Dr. Prasad talked about earlier. So this form has already been made up, and he chose heat resistant and acid resistant strains of bacteria. So this bacteria will make it where it belongs. It will get to your gut and not be destroyed in the
acid pH of the stomach.
Yeah. So this is the good stuff. And I always thought it was really interesting. In one of these ones that Dr. Prasad said, the FDA, one particular strain in here, the FDA has approved for children, for babies.
This is Bacillus coagulant. Yeah.
Okay.
Given to children, infant formula, because the children's gut are very sterile, and there is a danger of harmful bacteria can get form colony there. So to prevent that, they added a Bacillus coagulant in the infant formula.
Okay, there it is right there. So one of the last ones mentioned. The one right before that, this Lactobacillus reuteri.
Yeah, this is also important for adult because they have shown in clinical practice that this one in intestinal bowel inflammatory syndrome, they do some effective because they are also very heat resistant and acid resistance.
That's interesting. And there was another doctor that said too that reuteri is good for muscle support, restoration of muscle. So that would help with the structural integrity of the gut too, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, this has so important function that I don't know. Still, the physician don't pay attention to.
Right. Right. Yeah, that's amazing. So here's omega-3 that Dr. Prasad talked about also. This is crucial. I found that personally, I had some major back problems that I didn't realize was rooted in a deficiency in omega-3.
It is
And
very
so,
important for brain function as well as for heart function.
mhm,
DHA is for brain and EPA is for heart function, improving. And DHA part of the omega-3 is so important for brain because 40% of fatty acid in the brain is nothing but DHA.
oh, wow.
Can you imagine if they get oxidized, your
Wow.
brain won't be functioning very well.
Wow.
I mean,
Wow.
brain has a tremendous capacity, plasticity, that it can lose a lot of neurons and still can function it, but why?
Wow. I'm looking for my bottle right now, Dr. Prasad. You're scaring me now.
Yeah.
So as soon as we're done here, I'm gonna get my omega-3. And Bernard, I'm gonna send you a bottle. So I'm not trying to say that your brain is frozen up or anything, Bernard, but I'm gonna send you a bottle, Bernard. And collagen peptide.
Actually, Jonathan, I have about 20 of them,
There you
and
go.
I use 3 and 4 at a time.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about. The collagen peptide, Dr. Prasad has talked about the importance of that for the inner ear and
Yeah.
structural integrity of every organ, including the ear.
Yes.
Okay. And Dr. Prasad, tell us the significance of amla fruit and white tea, because people will go to say, oh, but Jonathan, I can find this collagen peptide at Costco for $40. Why should I buy this?
But those I have looked into this. They don't see you lose collagen because of increase in the enzyme called collagenase, and they increases it, so you lose collagen. So until you have an inhibitor of collagen, inhibitor of collagenase enzyme which destroy collagen, your effectiveness of your product won't be last for more than few days. So we have added a inhibitor of collagenase in our collagen peptide because that's why it is so good. And we have two different sources. One is amla, one is green tea extract. And the reason I added two sources, because when you use both of those inhibitors of collagenase, they inhibit much more than individual just use one of them.
Okay. So you can go ahead and buy your Costco. I'm not anti-Costco. I'm not anti-Costco. Like, I need to make that clear so that YouTube doesn't shut this video down. You can buy that one if you want to, but understand something, you're losing it as quick as you make it, basically. Dr. Prasad's formula stops you from losing the collagen as you make it. So Dr. Prasad's formula, you keep what you make. That's the whole point.
Yeah. And even when you are trying to lose the weight, weight loss issue, and GLP-1 gets destroyed within 1.5 minutes as soon as they are produced. And so various company, Ozempic or other company, have devised certain way to dissolve it so that it can last few hours. But our collagen peptide has inhibitor of the enzyme called DPP4, which destroys GLP-1 as soon as they are produced. So collagen peptide you are taking with the brain boost, it will be much more effective. And even without it, it will be much more effective than any other product. But I think if some people are getting resistant to losing weight, then they should use collagen peptide as well.
There we go. There we go. Blocks the enzyme that is disrupting your efforts.
Yeah.
Brain boost is phenomenal. I love the brain boost.
Brain boost I take every day myself.
I take 2 of these puppies twice a day, Dr. Prasad.
Yeah.
I can't go without it. So that I'm
maybe that's why my brain is still functioning. I don't know.
I want to be like you, see. So that's why I double up on it. See, so maybe I can kind of catch up a little bit. The sleep boost also is phenomenal. This, if you really want some additional help with sleeping, that will do it. CBD boost is the best on the market. It's isolate.
CBD is fantastic for any person who have even slightly worry about anything.
Yeah, anxiety of any kind, depression of any kind. This is the one. It's an isolate. So it's not a full spectrum CBD.
No,
This is CBD isolate, folks. So it's like a
that's why
concentrate.
it's so effective. It is pure, completely 100% pure without THC.
Yep, and nothing
Not
else.
addictive at all. And they enjoy it.
Mm-hmm. So now let me just tell them a little bit about the cost, Dr. Prasad, okay?
Okay.
Now, listen, folks, if you take the labels of these products and do the research on them yourself, the individual items would cost somewhere around $1,000. If you bought these bottles as you see them, the retail price would be about $310. I think it's more like $315. The price went up a little bit with the government's tariffs. So maybe about $315. But if you decided you want to get them on a wholesale basis, just get a subscription. No, excuse me. Become an affiliate or a preferred customer, and then you can buy wholesale. Right now, wholesale would be about $250. That's what these items wholesale cost me. So about $250. But you, if you subscribe to this bundle just like it is, Engage Global, the manufacturer, Dr. Prasad is the chief science officer for Engage Global. That company subsidizes your health. They have knocked off another $40 or $50. I think it's like $45, again, because of the tariffs. So for right around $200, you get the entire bundle that Dr. Prasad recommends that optimizes health. If for some reason $200 is a stretch for some people, and it is, we understand that because a lot of people got laid off, especially if you got doged. This would cost retail $164. But the subscription price is about $110. It may be a couple of dollars more, maybe $112 or so because of the tariffs and stuff like that. But that's the ballpark. This is the very minimum Dr. Prasad recommends.
Yeah.
But he strongly recommends that you include the omega-3 with this. So even if this is all you can do, you want to add on the omega-3 with that basic bundle. And if for some reason you still have trouble with the cost, the original formula that Dr. Prasad put together is now called Micro Daily Original. You can get this as a Micro Daily Original bundle, which is about $90. So you can change out the EMF for Micro Daily Original, and that would be about $90. So you can get it a little bit cheaper if you want. So the thing to do, though, to have that discussion about that, what to get, what's right for you, just get back to the person who invited you to this discussion, and they will help you to figure out what works best for you. But one last piece of advice before we allow room for some questions. Please remember, folks, don't expect a lotion, potion, or pill to do for you what you could do for yourself. Change your relationship with your couch. Get moving. We strongly recommend that you walk. Yep. The scientists are recommending now 7,000 steps a day for you. So if 10,000 steps a day scares you, 7,000 should be more within reason. I recommend that when you go to Walmart, instead of parking as close as you can to the door, park as far away as you can. Get extra steps in. Use the stairs whenever you can. Get steps, walk, get steps, walk. And then you can do for yourself what Dr. Prasad's formulas are also trying to help you with. So that's just the last bit of recommendation. So we have time for maybe one or two questions if something was not clear from our discussion right now. So if you do have a question, you can raise your digital hand, and we'll take one or two questions based on the subject matter that we're on. Try to continue to the subject matter if at all possible. So, your name, please. I don't see a digital hand, but I hear a voice. What's your name, please?
This is Manya. This
Go
is
ahead,
Dolores
Manya.
Labatt's daughter.
Yes, go ahead.
I don't have a question, and I apologize, but I am so excited about the product because my grandson yesterday, they had to call the paramedics for him, and we didn't know what was wrong. He just had this constant cry, and it was a cry like something was hurting.
How old is he?
He is 2 years. No, he's 3. He just turned 3.
Go ahead.
And so it was in his neck on his left side. And we had made this little concoction of the EMF and coconut oil. And by the time I had got to the house, this was happening before I got here. And then by the time I got there, I told him, I said, why y'all didn't put, the little ointment on him? And they didn't even think about it, but they put it on him. to make a long story short, they put it on him, and in probably about, you could call my mom, you could ask my mom, she might be on here. But anyway, I'm so excited because they put it on him, and it was just probably a minute, and he started trying to turn his neck. I just pulled up a little while ago, and he is turning his neck fully now.
Wow.
So this product, and I know for a fact because of my health problems, I have been taking Micro Daily for about almost 5 years. And when I tell you that I have changed tremendously within my health, I no longer have to take blood pressure medicine. So I'm just so super, super excited. And I just I'm so thankful, Dr. Prasad. I really am. Because these formulas, they truly work. And also, I haven't taken any pain medicine in about 3 years.
Wow.
They come to my house and they say, "You got Advil, you got Tylenol?" No. I said, I don't take those. I just go, if I'm having a headache, I'll put some that ointment across my forehead or wherever I'm having pain at, and I let it be.
Wow.
I'm telling you, the products are awesome. So I just want to say that. I didn't mean to cut you off, but
That's okay.
I'm so excited about it. And
Thank you.
just
Thank you
for it
very
to
much.
be for this child to be 3 years old and this to happen, it has happened to me and my mom because we have knee problems and put that ointment on.
Okay.
And after a while, you don't feel it.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna
and not only
contact
that,
you.
yeah, not only that, my brother has the gout, and I've been trying to get him to buy the products, and he had it so bad to where I put some on his foot, and that was a Saturday night, and he hadn't worked in 2 weeks. On that Saturday night, that Monday morning, he was up, getting ready to go to work.
Okay.
So
I'm gonna contact you Monday. I need the formula, right? So I can share that with everybody else.
okay.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank
That's
you.
pretty amazing.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Busy. We got maybe 1 or 2 more here. Corleen is one of our legacy leaders. Let's let Corleen jump in here.
Hey, Jonathan, I just want to say this was an excellent call today. I am just at awe the way you and Dr. Prasad share information together. I mean, it's masterful. I just want to thank you for the call. The other thing I'd like you to do is, can you share your omega testimony again? Because some people have been asking me about it, and we know omega is really important for us. Can you please share your testimony?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I believe I thought I knew what omega was good for. I thought I knew how beneficial it was, but I had no idea that it would have an impact on my back like it did. There was a practitioner, holistic practitioner who knows kinesiology. My wife burned her arm. I'm going to share her story at one point with you guys soon. But she burned her arm, and the practitioner worked on her right away. And it was kind of great because it brought her to a halt. By the way, Dr. Prasad, the collagen peptide, phenomenal for the burns. Mm-hmm. Phenomenal. I put her on therapeutic doses of Micro Daily and double doses of collagen. You cannot tell that she had a burn. Mm-hmm. But anyway, I called her up to talk about what was going on, and I said, I'm having trouble with my back. And she just started, she was, I was in her presence, and she started testing me. And she said, you're low on omega-3. I said, I got back problem. I said, don't you think I need collagen peptide or something else? She said, no, you need omega-3. And I mean a lot. So she took your bottle, and she said, she tested me. She said, you need 1 every hour for like 9 hours a day for at least 3 or 4 days. And I took the first few, and I can't believe it. The pain went down from like 9 to about 6 within just a few moments. And I kept doing it. And sure enough, all the pain all across my back, besides the lumbar, was gone that day. And I continued doing it for the 3 days. Like she said, I began to taper down. The pain started coming back when I tapered down too fast. I went back on the high doses, back pain.
How much you take?
Now I'm only taking about 2 twice a day, sometimes 3 times a day. But at that time, I took it all day, just like she said, 1 every hour for 9 hours a day. No question about it. It made
because it is non-toxic, it's a fatty acids,
I know you told me that. So that's the reason why I felt completely confident and safe to take it. My back cleared up. I could not believe the difference that it made for me. So now I know it's good for the back. I would never run out of it again, and I would never skip a day without taking it, Dr. Prasad. And now you just told me it's good for my brain. Oh no, it's on.
Thank you, Jonathan, for sharing that. Thank you, Dr. Prasad.
Thank you for your
Karen.
feedback, Coraline. Thank you very much. Dr. Prasad, can we take two more here real quick? We're
Sure.
going a little bit long. Joyce, go ahead, please.
Yes, I was curious because he said that the collagen helps with the hearing. Well, my mother, I'm trying to reach out to help her.
Uh-huh.
She's 94. So the question is how much? I'm always at awe as to how much quantity of things she needs.
I think if you approximately, there a scoop there. So if you take it, which is 10 grams, and for your mother, since she's the older one, I think if you take 5 grams twice a day, that would be half of the scoop twice a day would be sufficient.
Okay, thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you, Dr. Prasad. And Jeannie.
Okay, let's see. I actually have a hearing testimony.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, so I've had hearing loss from concussions. It's not uncommon. You know, you get your head knocked and it moves
Yeah.
things around. And so let me see how the progress went. So I also had an ear infection about 1993, which I could always, ever since then, I felt a pressure around my left ear and in that whole area. And I could tell, like, if I had earbuds on, I could hear much better out of the right instead of the left. And so recently, this year, I've been taking a lot of therapeutic dose. And actually, an odd thing happens, and this can happen sometimes when we're in the healing process. Our symptoms can actually increase a
worse.
little bit, and that can be discouraging, but it didn't worry me because I understand that. And my tinnitus actually got a little bit worse. The pressure around my ear was going up, and and it was becoming very uncomfortable. So I was thinking, and I was remembering that a lot of people are using Micro Daily EMF. Now I take almost all of the supplements. I definitely take the eye, and I take the Core 4, the eye bundle, everything. And I remembered several people talking about putting the Micro Daily EMF topically. You know, like I've heard of people having skin lesions, like little precancer, and that'll help it go away. Well, I thought, what the heck, because I knew what I had was a very aggravated sinus area, and there was something in there, and I just hadn't gone to the doctor, and I thought I should probably get the doctor to look at it. Who knows what they're going to pull out of there? But I thought, while I'm waiting for my appointment, I got a bottle of castor oil, and I think it's about 2 ounces. And I actually initially started with some golden seal root. I also use herbs. It's very good for, for infection. And as I was using that, I thought I should add a couple of capsules of Micro Daily EMF.
Yep.
And I did. And see, I was putting that in my ear and down my nose.
Oh, wow.
And do you know, as soon as I started putting it down my nose, especially, I could feel things shifting where that ear infection had been from 1993. Has the hearing come back completely? It's only been a week, but no, it's not completely back, but it's much improved, and the pressure is so much lower. It's amazing.
Wow. Wow. Jeannie, thank you very much. That's good to hear. And we look forward to hearing the follow-up on that one in the future.
Yeah.
We got 2 people that snuck in here, Dr. Prasad. Go ahead, Dan Norma Williams.
Have the hearing problem, but it's like I'm talking in my head all the time. I've gone to several ear doctors, and they keep saying it's a sinus problem, so they've given me the nose drops. And then I had something that I take, but I'm not going to take that because I was trying to figure out. I have the core. I'm trying to figure out, do I increase whatever I need to increase? Because it's been like this for a while. And then as much as you all are talking about hearing, I'm 81 years old, so maybe it's my age. But I don't have that problem in my left ear. It's only in my right ear.
You might want to do what my mother-in-law did. Make sure that you see your doctor, and if there's anything that needs to be cleaned out, work on that. And what Jeannie just said may also be something for you, because if there's an infection on that one side, what she did with her nasal cavity might be also a solution for you. So I'm not sure who you're connected to, Norma, but we could probably get information from Jeannie to get to you, okay? So who's your legacy upline?
Right. Okay. Well, thank you.
Who's your legacy upline?
Elizabeth.
Oh, Liz Henry. Liz Henry? Liz Henry?
What's her name?
Liz Henry?
Yeah, I think it is.
Okay. Yeah, we'll take care of you. We'll make sure we get the information to you, okay?
Okay, thank you.
One last one. Dolores.
Good afternoon to the both of you. I just want to say, Jonathan, about all the products. All of Dr. Prasad's product works synergistically together. My husband has the tinnitus as well, and he's had it for years. So we increased him on his Micro Daily. He started increasing on the Heart Boost. And he asked me a couple of days ago, he said, what did you tell me this Heart Boost was supposed to do? I started telling him a different one. I said, why? He said, because my hearing, he said, I don't hear that ringing like I did. He said, the ringing is going away. He says, there, but not like it was. So thank you, Dr. Prasad. All of your products, they work together. So you just have to put them together and let them work for you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dr. Prasad, thank you very much, sir. I think you can hear it and you can sense it from the responses, the expressions of gratitude are just unmatched and off the Richter scale. Everyone's excited. We're thrilled by what you do, Dr. Prasad. So thank you very much. And I will see you next week. Goodbye, everybody. Thank you all for joining us. My team 615.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you.